Okay, before I talk about this, I want to make it very clear that I don't work for another Axiom because I know a lot of people sometimes think that I work for another Axiom, but I'm just a guy. Anyway, these are my thoughts. I think the 0G version of A2 that we had before the game actually launched into open early access was a lot of fun, but it was essentially just Echo VR. It was slightly different, but it was very much like a replacement for Echo VR, which the community got up and running before early access launched. So I do think it would have been kind of weird if another Axiom was just like, yeah, we released a replacement for the thing that the community is trying to keep alive right now. In that moment in time, I think that would have been awkward. But I also think there's something really smart that another Axiom is doing here that a lot of people aren't taking into consideration, which is that Echo VR had a big problem. And that problem was that 0G made a lot of people really sick really fast. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved Echo. It's literally the thing that got me into VR, that got me into content creation. It was basically my entire life for multiple years. But I introduced multiple people into Echo that just got so sick so fast that they never learned any of the base mechanics and they never got back into the game ever again. So I think what another Axiom is doing with Orion Drift is really smart, which is that you load into a gravity space, you're always going to be pulled to the floor and you can just grab to stop. So you have a safe space to learn the mechanics, and there's a ton of stuff to do. You can play drift ball, you can play all the casual stuff. Parkour as it exists now would not exist if Orion Drift was just a 0G space. But Orion Drift still has 0G. If you go up to the center, there's no gravity there. There's nothing to do there right now, but they have a 0G space, and when they build that out, it's going to allow for a transition period where people can learn all of the mechanics in gravity and then transition into a zero gravity space. And it's actually going to make the 0G space better for everyone, but especially better for more people who would have otherwise just gotten sick and then never come back. Because now if you get sick in 0G, you can just come back down to gravity instead of quitting out of the game entirely and never coming back. Now, all that being said, do I wish that they had already built out the 0G space? Absolutely. And I cannot wait for them to do that, but I think they are doing it in a very smart way.